Welcome to Reset to Healthier Relationships Sunday night at 9. I am your host, Coach Glenda Carpenter, here with my co-host, Coach Rufus Carpenter. As always, we are so glad to have you here tonight. I know Sunday nights at 9 is a huge sacrifice for many of us, but I really do appreciate you showing up. Again, tonight's topic, you're my husband, not my enemy. Learning to disagree after years of independence. You're my husband, not my enemy. Learning to disagree after years of independence. This week is part 2 of this amazing and powerful topic. When you spent so many years making your own decisions and doing things your own way, marriage can require a major adjustment. Suddenly, it's not just about you anymore, it's about us. Tonight, we're talking about how to disagree without turning your spouse into an enemy. Because every disagreement doesn't have to become a battle, and marriage isn't about always getting the final say. I know sometimes we women love the final word in our marriages, but hey, it's not all about having the final say. So tonight, ask yourself, when you disagree, am I trying to be understood or am I trying to win? Let's talk about it. I'm gonna let Coach Carpenter give us a replay or just a recap of last week.
Okay, but before I get started, I want to say let's not get this twisted tonight. Tonight is not just about married people. It's about married and unmarried people. Because when you're dating someone, when you're used to making all decisions yourself and you get a partner where you're dating, cohabitating, or living together, whatever it is, when you've made all the decisions yourself and someone else have a different voice in the room, you begin to wonder, hey, wait a minute now, I've been used to doing this all by myself, and now you're going to come and try to change the script or flip the script on me? No, it ain't happening. So don't think this is just for married people. Single people, don't tune out, because this is for you also. Because when you've used to living by yourself for a long time, or you've been independent and you've made all decisions, and then someone else come in the picture and they want to have just as much say as you have, then you got to realize something. Your partnership, you've got to realize something. It's not so much they're trying to take over, it's just another voice in the room and another opinion in the room. And if you guys are thinking the same way all the time, it's kind of boring. It's boring. So sometimes it's great to have a different opinion in the room, because you can learn from one another. You can use each other's strengths and bounce off. Last week was a great week. We realized something that a lot of us don't want to let go. We want to make our own decisions. We feel we go to work every day. We feel we have our own money. And we feel that because of these things, we have our own decision making. But when you become a partner, when you're in a relationship, marriage, partnership, whatever it is, you are a partnership. There's two people making a decision for one. You're coming together. And that coming together makes a major difference in decision maker, because you should share in decision making. It should be a shared things. Now, there's times when you have to make decisions, something about yourself that's personal, that you have to make a decision about yourself. That's understandable. Those are one-offs. But when you're making it for the two of you, it needs to be the two of you making that decision. Last week, we talked about something called a team pause. And a team pause was really good, that a team pause gave us a chance to think about what we're doing, what we're saying. And all this is with a team pause is we ask you to name the issue. Whatever issue you guys are having, name it and state what you need. The issue could be that every time I order groceries, or every time I pay for something, you always complain because you figure we should talk about it first, or I should know more about what you eat and all that. That may be a situation, but when you say what you need, okay, I need us to work together more as a team. I need us to pause before we buy anything over $250. We need to talk about it because we can figure out how we're going to use that money. We're going to pay it all cash, or we're going to put it on charge, or we're going to, whatever we're going to do. Mm-hmm. And then you invite the other person's view. Hey, why do you feel this way? Just give me a minute and tell me, how do you get to that point? And that's what a team pause is. A team pause gives you a chance to breathe, step back, and make some better decisions together, okay? This week is a great week because we know we have a lot from last week. Last week was a barn burner. We talked about family, and someone said, one person said last week, I want to make all the decisions for my family in our relationship. You don't have anything to do with that. So we're going to talk about a little bit more about that this week. And then last week, we also said that I want to make my own decisions about me, no matter who I'm with. So let's talk about it. Glenda, let's give it back to you because I can talk about this forever.
Okay, thank you so much. So Coach Carpenter did mention the tool that we had used last week or that we learned about last week, the team pause. He didn't go into detail, but I just want to go through it real quick with us. Just to recap from last week, what the team pause is. You use this when you notice the conversation being contested instead of being a conversation. The two of you are really not vibing together. So the T stands for take a pause, lower your voice, slow your response. Do not answer from the first wave of emotion. I know for myself, I do take a pause and I don't address the situation sometime that day. I take a few days because I need to cool down because when that wave of emotion comes in, it's like, you go from 0 to 100 in a Mississippi minute. And it's like, oh my goodness, your responses aren't going to be pleasant. You're not going to be kind. And when you're in a relationship with somebody that you love, you want to make sure that you respond accordingly and appropriately. So explain the issue, not his or her character. Say what happened. Avoid the word you. Never use the word never. And never use labels. Never say, you did this, it was your fault. I never want to do this again. Yeah, don't do any of that. Explain what the issue is without pointing blame. Then we have the A, ask for what you need. You have to communicate. We're so big on communication. I don't think it has been a week that has gone by that someone on the open live discussion on Sunday night or Coach Carpenter and I have not mentioned how important communication is. Please, you need to let your partner know what you need. Be specific. I need 10 minutes. I need us to decide this together. I need you to hear why this really matters to me. Make your requests known because the other party isn't psychic. They can't read your mind. I know our body language says a lot of things, and sometimes when our volume and our voice raises, it says a lot. They can tell right then and there, oh, she or he is upset right now because the way their arms are folded or their high pitch, they're really frustrated and irritated. So please ask for what you need. Be able to talk to your partner even in those heated moments. And then we have the M in team. Make room for his or her view. Ask, what are you seeing that I may be missing? I know that my husband tells me, help me understand. That's one of his famous lies. He'll always say something. He'll come back if I'm saying something he doesn't quite get it, or if we're in a agree to disagree conversation. He'll say, "Help me understand." So that's my prompt to know that he needs more clarification, because he wants to see what he's missing because he may be thinking something that he may not be comprehending or understanding what I'm saying. So his thought process may be totally going left when I'm trying to go right. So always, please Make room for his or her view. If you need clarification, ask them to repeat themselves. Ask them, can you dummy it down a little bit more? I know that even in my text messages to friends and family, I say, can you tell me this in layman's term? Because I'm just not understanding what's going on right here. So always make room for his or her view. Ask, what are you seeing that I may be missing? And listening does not mean automatic agreement. Just because someone hears you out doesn't mean they're agreeing with everything you say, or they will ever agree with whatever you say. Because I know that when me and my husband have open discussions, he doesn't always agree with me. He's very open-minded and he hears what I'm saying, but at the same time, too, just because he say, okay, he's listening attentively, he's just paying attention to everything, he's asking questions, he even asks for clarity, it doesn't mean that he's going to agree with me. So listening does not mean the person automatically agrees. So do we have any questions about the teen pause that we just went over? Do you have any comments or feedback from what we discussed last week before we dive into our remaining content for tonight?
If no one says anything, why the night conversation matters. Why
Okay.
do this conversation tonight about my husband is not my enemy? And once again, it's not so much your husband or your wife. It could be your girlfriend, boyfriend. It could be a family member. It could be your brother, your uncle, your auntie. It could be the coworker. Why it matters. Why it matters tonight. And the reason why it matters tonight, because some of us are a little older than most. And we've created some strong habits around our control. We've created some strong habits around privacy. I don't want everybody in my business. The first thing you say, and our routines. Every Thursday I do this, and you don't call me on Thursday because here's what I'm doing. So don't even try to get me to change my Thursdays. Or money. Hey, hold up. I work hard every day. These are my dollars. They stand in my wallet or my pocketbook. We're not sharing. So we got strong habits around our time. Some people feel and some people know time is your most important asset.
And you can't get it back.
So you do that. And here's the number one thing: decision making. We all want to make decisions for ourselves, by ourselves, and only with ourselves.
Yeah.
But when you bring another person on, a lover, a partner, or a confidant, or whatever you say it is, and they're dear in your life, and you guys say we're gonna tackle this world together, and we're on this journey together. Some of that the decision making there has to be a team sport.
It does.
Has to be team. So that's why the night's so important, because and the nights when we talk through this, we're gonna realize some of us really have some control issues. Some of us are not gonna take our hand off the wheel for nobody. So okay, Glenda, go ahead.
Okay. All right. There was a comment in the chat. I thought it was hilarious. Someone said, how do you think of all that when you're arguing? And I told them, I referred back to our team pause. That's when you go back to T. You take a pause and do not respond at the first wave of emotion.
But when you arguing, it's when it's all there. You don't think about it as automatic. That's when all of these controls, that's when all these habits, all these patterns pop right up. You're so girded, as they say, you're so girded for what you're going to want and what you're going to do. Your habits are so ingrained and your patterns are so ingrained. When you in that heated argument, nobody going to get in. You build a fence around your control. You build a fence around your resources. You build a fence around your time. You build a fence around your decision making. And think about it. If you're making a decision for the two of you in that relationship and you don't want to hear the other person's opinion or the other person's voice, is that fair? Inquiring minds want to know.
Oh, goodness. Oh. They say,
Somebody said, hell no. Wow.
I saw that.
And that's why the night's so important, because if we don't talk about it, we're going to always wear this. And unless we name it, unless we see it firsthand, we're not going to believe it. Because a lot of times when we're in relationships, we think only about ourselves. Yeah, I love you and I want to share life with you, but I want to make my own decisions.
Right.
And that bus already ran into a ditch.
Hey, something just came to mind that the way you explained it just now. I know that I noticed a lot of changes, after people turn like 35 plus, 35 and up in their age. It's like even when they decide to get married later in life, it's hard to break those independent habits that you have of doing everything for yourself. It's not that you're knocking the fact I want a partner, I desire a spouse, but you're so used to doing everything for yourself and making the big decisions as well as the small decisions for yourself. It's so hard to let someone come in and as far as a partnership goes, to take their opinion, their suggestions, you know, take them, take them into considerations before you just jump and do something right away. And I have this saying I tell my friend, I was like, I was single too long. I was single too long. And I think that applies to a lot of men and women at, age 35 and up. If you've either been married and been divorced for, 10, 15 plus years. I know I've been divorced maybe 26 years, if I'm not mistaken. But I was single for too long, even though I desired to be married. It was a lot that came with after being single for so long. It was a lot that came with the partnership, the marriage that I didn't even consider. I thought about, the cooking, the cleaning, the raising the children together, some of the other more important things to me. But when it came to like decision making, Glenda, you don't have to get your car fixed all by yourself anymore. Glenda, you don't have to worry about the landscaping anymore. You don't have to do all this. You have someone else that is playing a huge part in your life and that can take on some of those more masculine, you know, tasks and duties inside the home. So you can be single for too long to where it's hard for you to adjust to having someone in your life and helping you make decisions. But it's doable. It's doable.
When you were talking, Coach Glenda, the first thing came in my mind, be careful what you ask for.
That's a good response. You're absolutely right because
The
you
first thing
get
came
it.
to my mind, because especially you talking about you've been single too long. And if you've been single too long and you got those habits you ingrained in you, and then
Right.
you want someone else come in, you've already picked your lane. You said you want to do the house cleaning, the cooking, and all those things. You already picked the lane. Now, let's say this person come in and this person is a strong person. Let's say
Mm,
this person, this is an alpha male, or let's say
yes.
this person's or alpha or high value woman come into a relationship, and this person says this person already have a vision of how they want their relationship, marriage, partnership, or move in, how they want it to roll. Because some people, especially when they've been out of the game or out of the market for a while, or been saving up, or waiting for the Mr. Right or Mrs. Right, and they've got their opinion of what Mrs. Right gonna look like, and what we're gonna do, and how we're gonna carry this, and how we're gonna carry that. And when you come together, it's a tender moment there when you first come together. Let's say sometimes you bump heads. And when
Mm-hmm.
you bump heads, sometimes a person one say, well, okay, all right, no, whatever you want, we're gonna do that. Here's what we're gonna do. Okay, we'll do that. And the role, sometimes you can get what's that word? Typecasted in that role.
Okay.
You can get to be, hey. So this is interesting. Someone else talk because I don't want to. I don't want to steal the show tonight because there's so much. This is so much going on with this topic. Any other comments?
Did anybody want to share anything?
Hold on, I will. How do I get the? Yeah, I will. Well, okay. What about a situation like this? What about if two people come together as a team, like it should be, and one person feel like, okay, they got someone now to take care of their slack. You know, they're not willing to do their part.
Someone want to answer that before I get involved? Nobody will jump in? Okay. Yeah. All right. If you're 18 and coming in and the one person decide, hey, I want somebody to take my slack, and they lay back or sandbag, and the other person is carrying all of the weight, which happens a lot. And a lot of times it's the guys. The guys want to sandbag, and the woman is so used to being strong because her mom has kind of geared her to going out there and winning and being a solid provider. That, and a lot of times guys have been cuddled by their mother, by the society, and they figure, hey, somebody's gonna take care of me. And at 18, the guy figures somebody's gonna take care of me, so he's gonna get a strong, high-value lady who's 18, but on a trajectory going up, and she's gonna carry this guy, which I see happens a lot. Mm-hmm. And this guy is gonna sandbag, lay back, and just I can't say what they normally say, but this guy is looking for a free ride. Right. And it happens a lot, which it shouldn't happen. It shouldn't happen because both should carry the same weight. No one should carry the burden of the other person. Correct. If at 18 you're grown, you need to carry your own weight. You can get further if you both work together going up the road. Right. Someone, if that young person, whether the male or female, the one that's carrying the both, if that person can't see it themselves, someone in their immediate circle of family should sit her down or sit him down and say, look, you know, I don't want to get in your business, but you're starting this race out wrong. Right. You're handicapping yourself, calling it love, but you're handicapping yourself because you got a lot of people out there takers. You got a lot of people that manipulate you. You got a lot of people that are or want a free ride. You got a lot of people that will use your resources up, and then when you don't have no more resources, they go to the next one. Next. Right. Correct. So Sharon, the short answer to your thing is when you're 18 and you decide you want to sandbag or you want to lay back, you want somebody else to take care of you, you're dead wrong. You're dead wrong. You're dead wrong.
No, I didn't say I was the one that wanted someone to take.
No, I didn't say you was the one, but I'm saying the person we want to take advantage. Whoever it is taking advantage of the other one is dead wrong. Not you, Sharon. The person that's taking advantage of the other one is dead wrong.
Okay. Because
a lot of times, and I've seen it a lot of times in our families, women, mothers will be harder on women, on girls than it would be their sons. The girls, they got a routine. Here's what you're gonna get up first thing in the morning. You're gonna do this, that. I'm expecting this from you, expecting that from you, expecting this from you. And the guy, the male child, kind of get a pass. Because the mom figures the world is so much against him. The world is so much against the black male. The world is so much against it. The black male has it so hard. Well, really? No matter how hard you have it, you still have to make your own way.
Now, Coach Carpenter, someone put in the chat, maybe they just want to be kept for a change.
The change needs to be stop being kept. That's the change.
He'll be kept as long as he got a job.
But my question would be, how can one person in a so-called healthy relationship carry the whole weight, all the weight?
It happens a lot, Coach
Well, I
Glenda.
know
It
it
happens a
does. I
lot.
know it does.
You're in the medical field, Coach Glenda. Yeah, and I know a person, a female that's in the medical field and doing very, very well. And her husband is not doing very, very well because he knows she's doing very, very well and she can carry the weight all by herself. So he's allowing her to carry the weight all by herself. And if she make him get a job, he won't hold it long. And if he does anything,
That's not a healthy
he finds a
relationship.
reason why he shouldn't belly up to the bar and do well.
But that's not a healthy relationship because is she content with that situation or does she have a problem with that?
She has a problem with it,
Right.
but the husband, he knows she gonna carry the weight, so he just he takes the chewing out, he takes the negative conversation, but nothing's changed.
Right. I get it. I get it. I get what you're saying. But I wouldn't consider that a healthy relationship because that is not something that she wants to do. That, she doesn't want to carry the weight, even though she can, and he knows it. But there's some other variables to that scenario that I have questions that you may or may not know because let's think about it. Did they get married? Is this a married couple that you're referring to?
Yes, married
Okay.
couple. They were
Was it
girlfriend and
like
boyfriend
this?
for a long time, and then the guy convinced her to marry him.
Oh, so she knew this before she said I do?
Yes.
No, it wouldn't have been no convincing. Mm-mm. No, ma'am.
Well, I'll probably the roles will have to change. He'll be the house husband. Will he do the cooking, the washing, the cleaning, and all that? If I'm doing everything else.
Mm.
Dr. Hinton has a lot of interesting stuff in the chat, and it goes by so fast I can't see it. And once when he said that typecast, I saw that, but I couldn't get to it. We moved to something else. Um, Coach, Dr. Hinton, can you express some of that you put in chat because you dropping some nuggets there, buddy?
Well, when you all were mentioning this typecast, I never really thought of myself as typecast. But then when Glenda started saying you can be single for so long, I started saying, I wonder if I've been typecast because I am very independent. I am a very free-spirited person. And so I'm assuming that when I'm out in public, no one may want to approach me because they would say, wait, what am I going to be able to do? Because there's nothing emotionally that I'm searching for right now. So I don't know if I'm typecast.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. The only thing about that is, Dr. that you have those that will watch you and see that, and they will figure out how can they tap into that for their benefit, not your benefit, for their benefit. That's and I don't know if you noticed that there's maybe 1 in 10 or 1 in 8 that finds a way to get around your defenses, and you find yourself 2-3 months up the road talking about, damn, what the hell just happened? I don't know if you've noticed that at all.
After 2 or 3 days, yes, not months, days.
But you fast on your feet, huh?
Oh yeah, I start picking up after first of all, after the first like $25-$30 out my pocket, I said, wait a minute, this don't sound right.
You count your pennies early on.
You have to.
You're right. You do.
That's what when people, there's issues when you don't have anything, people want to take advantage of you. When you're middle class, people want to take advantage of you. When you got something, people still want to take advantage of you. There's no safe lane.
No, it's not. None.
There's no safe lane. You know how they say there's somebody out for everybody?
Yeah.
There's a con out there for everybody.
It is. It is. Yep, there's no safe lane. And then I do know that you have to watch even what you say to people. Like when people start asking you personal questions about where you were or, what kind of car you drive because they never seen you outside or pulling up or driving away. When people ask you certain probing questions, they be like, what you ask me all that for? Or if you're buying a house and you decide to keep your first home, well, what you going to do with that? What? Doesn't matter. I mean, you're not moving in, and you don't see a rental sign out front. I've learned that you have to watch what you tell people or what you say around people, even when you're moving up the ladder, because some people hate from a distance. And then people try to find ways where they can take advantage of you or try to come up on you because they say, oh, well, they got it like that. No, no, we don't. We don't. We go to work just like everybody else. We save, we use coupons. We look for the BOGOs when we go to the grocery store. Yes, no, we don't have it like that. We have to punch a clock, sweat, blood, tears. Yes, 7 days a week, not 5 days a week, but 7 days a week. So people like Coach Carpenter said, there is no safe lane. People are always looking to come up on you, regardless of where you're at, whether you have a little money, no money, pocket change, or whether you just hit big.
Coach, let's go into the examples, because right now we're moving fast, but the example is going to really take us into that sweet spot of tonight.
Okay, all right. Well, the first example of tonight is time and routine. I was doing this before you came along. Does it sound familiar? Alicia, 52, values quiet Saturday mornings. Her husband wants to use that time for errands and visits. After several tense weekends, she snaps. I am not changing everything because I got married. What she really fears is losing the life and identity she built for herself. The solution is not for her to give up her mornings or for him to give up his wishes. They need a routine that protects individual space and creates shared time.
Ooh, how many of us can identify with this one?
I can. I definitely can. When I met my husband, he was working 6 days a week. And I'm like, well, when we gonna get to spend some time together? So he went from every Saturday to every other Saturday. That didn't last long, but I just had to adjust. And everything is working out well.
Okay.
That's awesome. That's a great compromise there, because that showed that he was willing to work with you, and he saw what you saw, and he did the best he could to do that, because sometimes when we want, even when we want the best for ourselves or for those other people, the system has grown. The system has gotten us to the point where we can't change. That's like that farmer that goes out every morning. He gets in his tractor and he drives the same way to the barn or the same way to wherever he works in the tractor, and he does it so many years he gets ruts into the ground, where if he stopped guiding the tractor kind of guides itself, because he's been going that route so long, it's got ruts in the road that the tractor was just going down the road the way it should go. And that sometimes we get into those ruts that happens sometimes. So I applaud you guys, Wanda, for working through it. This is a good one. This is a really good one. And here the lady said the most important thing. I'm not going to change everything because I got married, or I'm not going to change everything because we became boyfriend and girlfriend. I'm not going to change everything because I moved in with you, or because I let you move in with me, and now you think you're calling the shots. I'm not going to change everything.
I thought that was a little harsh for a married person.
Yeah, but it could be the same thing for somebody just moving in. They don't have to be just so married. It could be unmarried too.
Well, yeah, I understand that too, but marriage is it's more of a commitment. And I mean, I know that we look at our relationships differently, but relationships are a dime a dozen. But when you say that to your spouse, someone that think about your vows. I know a lot of times I have to pump the brakes. Sometimes I have to go in a room because, I'm like, I'm going to calm down. You can't say that. That's a grown man.
Well, Coach Glenn, the news flash, at our age, when we have relationships now, they're not a dime a dozen. We want that one
You
special one.
say that last part again, Coach Carpenter.
A news flash, Coach Glenda. At our age now, when we have relationships, we're not looking for a dime a dozen. We're looking for that one.
Yeah, but at our age today, these relationships aren't lasting. Do you know how many women and men desire to get married or be in genuine relationships? And the relationships usually don't last no more than 2 to 5 years before they're back into a new relationship.
Some people don't want to get married, Coach.
I do know
Some
that.
people
I
just
understand
want
it.
to live together. Hey, I want to live with you and you want to live with me. Let's do the dang thing.
Somebody else second that.
Hey, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I don't know.
Modern relationships now, you do what you big and bad enough to do.
My question.
Go ahead.
My question is, with your example, I mean, didn't they know this from the beginning?
That is so important, and that's a good question.
It seems like after they got married, they wanted to change everything, but this was going on way before they got married.
Right, and they didn't probably take it into consideration because they, had the butterflies in their stomach, had the Google eyes looking at each other. So that went to the back burner until the stuff got real.
Yeah.
Emotions are something. Emotions sometimes take the best of us.
True.
And then when later down the road, we sort it all out and we realize, what in the heck have I done? We start backpedaling. I think that's why somebody put, that's why I adapt my schedule.
That's why I was able to adapt to his schedule. See?
Okay. Yeah. And you're right, Gigi. They knew it going in, but sometimes you say one thing out of your mouth.
Right.
And your head and your heart start going to war at each other. And sometimes the head wins, and you say, "Oh, let's renegotiate this."
But you can always meet each other in the middle. Maybe not every Saturday, because if that is her routine every Saturday, maybe she can negotiate to where, she had 2 Saturdays out the month and he has 2 Saturdays out the month, where they go their 2 different ways to do what they like to do most. And then the other 2 Saturdays, they, come together. Half of the day, they can chill at the house so she can enjoy her Saturday mornings. And then the other part of that Saturday, go out with him to run his errands. I mean, when you love somebody, you have to find a middle. You have to meet them somewhere in the middle. If you can't meet them in the middle, I mean, you probably need some coaching or counseling. But something as simple as your day, your Saturday, I won't say that's something huge, but that's something that can be worked on. There has to be some type of compromise. And then, like the participant said, didn't you know this already? Didn't you know before you said I do that you like your Saturdays to chill and do whatever you want to? Didn't he ever mention what he does on Saturday? So as we go back and I reiterate, that communication is huge in relationships. And, whether you're married, single, or, in a situationship, you have to always communicate, because what you don't see today as an issue, it could be an issue later on down the line in a long-term relationship, maybe even a deal breaker.
I want to ask a question in the chat, because we haven't asked a chat question in a long time. How many of us have been in a serious love relationship or a romantic relationship where we were given an ultimatum? where something we didn't want to do, and we were at a impasse or a crossroads, and the other person gave us an ultimatum. Just put in there. You can put yes or no. If everybody, if I want to see if everybody do this. Where you have been in a romantic relationship or a love relationship, and you were given an ultimatum at this point, where this lady says, let me say it again. What she says, I'm not going to change because I got married. And right after that is normally when you get an ultimatum. Have anybody have anybody have been given an ultimatum at that point in a marriage, relationship, romance, or partnership, or living together? Put in the chat, please. And then, Coach Glenda, can you tell us how many yeses and how many nos?
Sure.
Tell me which is the majority. Don't tell me how many. Tell me which is majority yes and majority no.
It's a tie. It's a tie.
Tie? Okay, that's probably right. 50-50. You're probably right. Because I know I have. I've been given 3 ultimatums.
That's all.
I have given 3. Not by different people. One by each person, a different person. Mm-hmm. And one, the lady says, you got to make a decision. Either stay and do this, or there's the door. That was the first ultimatum. Guess what I did, Coach?
Yeah.
All day long. All day long. And the reason why I left that one, because I felt then that was the start. And I could have changed my mind. I could have went with it. I could have said, okay, and softened my stance. Say, okay, no problem. We can work through this. I can do this. But I realized that was the start. That was a start.
So when you say that was a start, that was the start of something that could turn into something bigger later on down the line?
I think that was the person's trying to get control. I think
okay.
With that, I think I'd have always been her whipping boy.
Okay.
So I said no and walked away.
Are you going to share the other 2, sir?
But let somebody else share first. Anybody else want to share some of the ultimatums? Anybody else want to share before I go into the other ones?
Yeah, I got one.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Sharon. Sharon, we can't hear you.
You're on mute, Sharon.
How do I do it? How about
okay.
now?
I can hear you.
Okay, I got one, and this was real crazy too. It took me by surprise. Okay, everybody know how my shape is. I got nice shape, really nice shape. But anyway, I do. But anyway, the person told me that my blouses or t-shirts or whatever, the V was too low. It showed too much cleavage. And they told me if I wasn't willing to change how I dress, and I don't dress hoochie either. That's not my style. That we can be involved.
Oh.
That's what I said.
Bye.
No, I said I grew up a long time ago. See you. Oh, what's going on?
Well, I was asked one time, I think when I turned 58, and I was asked why I didn't dress like a 50-year-old woman. And I said, because I don't know how a 50-year-old woman dress.
I know
I just turned 58, so.
Oh my goodness. And what happened after that?
He started buying me clothes, but they still was like 55, 56, 57 clothes, never 58.
Okay, he was just trying to change the way you looked.
Exactly.
Okay. And apparently that relationship didn't last long.
Yeah, I married him.
That's awesome.
That's great.
That is awesome. That is awesome.
Is
Somebody you can stand up to and somebody can stand up to you.
No.
Yes, it's the current husband.
Okay.
So
and
it could have
that's
been too
wonderful
much.
because that way you guys can stand up to each other. Neither one of you scared of the other. So that's a good one. That was a good one. Anybody
Well,
else
look,
want to
I got a
share?
question. I got a question. So when y'all met, it took a while for him to make that comment. So did he have a problem with the way you addressed him? Because you must have did something right because you caught his eye.
No, he didn't have a problem then, but I guess from us going out and his friends probably was making little, oh, she look nice and da 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 da. So he
Oh,
figured maybe if you dress your age. But I'm like, I just turned 58. I don't know how 50-year-old dress. And I'm just dressing like I dress. And this how I
okay.
was dressed when you met me.
Right. Okay. I get it. Thank you.
Now I see Annette put it in the chat. I think ultimatums. Now that need further discussion.
I'm sorry, I entered before I finished. I was getting ready to try to do something. What I was going to say is, I think ultimatums ultimately is challenging.
Okay, got it.
Any kind of way you get it or whatever, or from whom it come to, because like you said, that is one exerting control over the
Yeah.
other, and I don't think maybe what they're trying to say can be dealt with differently, but
Mhm.
when it's done as a you do this or else, I think we just become to say, okay, the or else have to happen, because we're not going to allow you to say what I gotta do or can't do. We can negotiate and talk about it. We can say, this is something that bothers me, or that bothers me, or I would like it if you could change or consider changing. But when you give me that ultimatum, then you have crossed the line. That's what I think.
You and Annette, you and Gigi, are y'all any kin? Because you guys think alike in some things.
We understand alike.
Oh.
Yes, it makes a huge difference. Yeah. I don't know anybody that really tolerated those hardcore ultimatums.
All right, let's move on. We've done automated. I ain't gonna give you the other two, Coach. Let's move on.
Yes, sir. All right, the conflict style. Why do I have to explain myself? Keisha 44 is quick, direct, and decisive. During conflict, her husband asks questions because he wants context. She experiences the questions as uh, interrogation and becomes sharper. He becomes quieter. She assumes silence means he does not care. He assumes her intensity means there is no room for him. The teen pause changes the pattern. She says, I am feeling questioned and I am getting defensive. I need a minute. Then I want to explain why this matters and hear what you are asking.
That goes back to what Andre said earlier. And when he's going through it, he ain't thinking none of this stuff. This goes like he ain't thinking none of that stuff.
That's a perfect example. Exactly what he was talking about. You're absolutely correct.
So lucky Keisha, she thought about the teen pause, but a lot of us don't think about the teen pause.
Right. But if you're trying to keep your relationship, you have to, because you don't want it to be misinterpreted either.
A lot of us haven't been to Sunday night at 9. With Coach Glenda, your rise again woman.
That's fine.
A lot of us been around the corner on Sunday night.
Okay. Someone said that sounds like a trust issue.
It is. Think about it, because if she's quick, and this is what I was saying earlier about normally one would shut down, one would actually shut down, and the person, and this could be a habit. This could be their normal thing. Keisha come out the gate strong. and he's just shut down. And it moves along. This could be the normal thing. I know when in my first marriage, I know I shut down. And she came strong like that. I knew I couldn't win. So I just threw in the towel. Yes, dear. So anyone else want to share any comments about this one? Their thoughts about this one?
Is that a good relationship? I mean, if
So.
you're gonna,
No.
it's almost as if she's bossing him around and he just shuts up and moves on. But at the end of the day, if they get into trouble, who's gonna fight? Is it gonna be her or is it gonna be him? You know, because if he's shutting down now, when they get into an issue, she's got to be the one.
And see, I don't like this example for two reasons, and you hit it on nail on the head, Gigi. One is she's the one that's quick. She's the one that's decisive. She's the one that come off strong, and he shuts down. And then she's the one on the back end bringing it back around. Now she's doing the team pause to tell them what it is, but she's controlling both narratives. She's controlling the issue, and she's controlling the repair. So there's a piece missing here. Unlike you, Gigi, on this one, there's a piece missing.
Yeah, because I mean, what woman? Well, I'm not going to say it that way. I can only speak for myself.
Okay.
I need a man's man. I need somebody that's going to be, take control. And if he's going to allow me to take control, then I got to move on. Because when I get into trouble, I need somebody not to stand behind me, stand in front of me, or stand beside me, or whatever. That's how I look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because this looked like she beat him up and gave him a tissue. So blow your nose, boy. And the gist here is the team pause, and the team pause is great, but the realistic rubber meets the road. She's controlling both narratives here. As a coach, I'm supposed to say, yeah, she's done the right thing by team pause, but my heart tells me that there's a little bit going on here that we're not saying. Or we're not telling you.
Of course, it's always more.
And Dr. Hinton says she's an alpha female. She's an alpha and the omega. She's the beginning and the end of this one. Anyone have any questions about anything we went through tonight? Because this is pretty much all that we had for you tonight, and we wanted to make sure that you got the gist of it. Because whether it's your husband, or whether it's your boyfriend, or whether it's your girlfriend, or whether it's your mate, or whether it's a partner, whether it's a family member, when you're in a relationship together, whether it's romantic or not romantic, whether it's relational because of family or because friends, you have to realize there's two people involved. Right. Now, in a marriage, yes, like Coach Glenda said earlier, in a marriage, it has more strings and more ties. And in a relationship, I feel it still has some of the same strength, the same ties, but I can see where it might be a little lighter as a relationship instead of a marriage, because a relationship, when you break, you don't have all that separation and all that family, all that court and all that stuff to go with it. So it may be a little easier. But when you're going through anything as a team, there's going to be a time when you're not going to sit the same horse, or you're not going to all agree the same. So we wanted to give you something that could help you handle the conflict on the front end. We want to give you a head start because you're always going to have problems. You know, every relationship ebbs and flows up and down. And we want, when the bad times come, we wanted you to have some type of program or some type of plan to get you beyond that. And that's what the night's all about. Anybody have anything to say before Coach take us home?
That's why I do a timeout.
How long is your timeout?
Maybe like 30 minutes to an hour.
Good. It works for you?
It actually does. It
Okay.
actually works. And I go back and now it's time to sit down and discuss.
Okay. Perfect.
What method is that? I've never heard that.
It's similar to the pause. It's similar to the team pause. It's just that that timeout part is the part where she says she's telling herself and him that she needs time. And that pause, her pause is she goes straight to the time. You know, she may soft the front end and say, well, hey, here's what I need. I need some time right now. You know, this is not making sense, or right now I might blow up if I stay here. I need some time. I need a pause, a break. And that may be her version of the team pause. And that's exactly it takes the pressure, because if you stay there and fight fire with fire or iron sharpen iron, it's not gonna. It sometimes it don't end well.
No, it doesn't.
But go ahead. And I'm sorry, I just wanted to share that part. And you know, I gotta commend you, the audience. You guys, man, you guys are awesome. You guys bring fire. You guys have a lot of great knowledge on relationships, and it shows. And I'm glad you lending it, because you don't know who you're helping, because you're helping us on the line. But when we put this on YouTube, and anybody can go and get it, and they gleaming some things, some great things from you guys, from us. They're getting a lot of wisdom. They're getting a lot of stuff. They're saying, wow. You know, like tonight, a couple things you guys said tonight that I said, wow, I grasped and I put in my quiver or my on my back, in my backpack, that I can use again in my toolbox. You guys are awesome. So thanks for your comments.
All right. Any other comments or feedbacks before we bring this to an end? Okay.
I just want to say I'm here forever for mine.
Oh, beautiful.
That's awesome.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. As we close tonight, remember your spouse is your partner, not your opponent. You can be strong and still compromise. You can have your own opinion and still listen. And you can disagree without disrespecting or disconnecting from each other. This week, when you have a disagreement, pause before you react and ask yourself, do I want to win this argument, or do I want us to understand each other? Sometimes one pause can change the entire conversation. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I am Coach Glenda Carpenter, your Rise Again woman. Until next Sunday night at 9, reset, reconnect, and rise. Good night, everyone.
Good night,
All right.
everybody.
Glenn, Coach Glenn. I came early
Good
tonight
night.
at 9 o'clock. Early.
I see. Thank you.
Good
I'm in a
night,
good mood tonight.
family.
Good night.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Good night.